welcome everybody to my persuasive speech. Today I'm going to be talking about the importance of gun safety. Here is my audience. And let's jump right into it. So, gun safety is very important for you, your family, and your community. For your safety and your health, it will in many cases can save lives, and so it kind of boggles my mind that it is not a part of the process for owning a firearm. And I strongly believe that going through a hunter safety or gun safety on top of a suicide prevention course is necessary before being allowed to own a firearm, and this will ensure that everybody is more safe when they are using guns. And there are two very real sides to firearms, and that is the fun and adventurous, where like me, I go out with my family all the time and we go to the desert and we shoot guns, and when we have the opportunity to, we will go hunting, and it's a lot of fun where we can come closer together, but we've all taken a hunter safety course and know what we're doing. And the other side of this is those who have not taken a gun ed course, and it can have very serious consequences. For example, there are 38,000 people that die every year in the US just from gunshots, and there are more than 80,000 people who are injured in the US due to gunshots. And so one of the very real consequences of not proper gun safety is suicides. And there are 22,000 firearm suicides that occur annually in the US. This is 2/3 of all firearm deaths in the US. Nevada is ranked 7th in the nation for suicide, and it is the leading cause of death for ages 10 through 17. There are roughly 632 Nevadans that commit suicide every year. Some statistics about suicide are firearms are used in half of suicide deaths. This is 3 in every 5 gun deaths is a suicide, and suicide by firearm is almost always fatal, where 9 out of 10 suicide attempts with a firearm result in a death. And so every single day there are 64 Americans that die by firearm suicide. This is one person every 22 minutes. So let's talk about the process you have to go through before you can own a gun. The United States does not have a national standard required for a firearm training before you purchase a gun. There are 3 steps, and that is they check your qualifications. So if you have any restraining orders, or you've been sentenced to prison for over a year, illegal aliens, or dishonorably discharged veterans, and anything of that nature immediately disqualifies you from owning a firearm. And so you do a background check, they check if you're qualified, then you can go to a licensed gun dealer and you have to fill out an ATF form before you are allowed to purchase a firearm. As you'll notice, none of which of the requirements are a gun safety class or a suicide prevention class or course. And this is something that most definitely needs to change and should be a required part of owning a firearm, because many people do not have just the basic knowledge of gun safety. And the 4 basic rules are: always keep your muzzle pointed in a safe direction where it can't harm anyone and it's not pointed towards anyone or anything you don't intend to shoot. The second is always treat your firearm as if it is a loaded gun. Whether you think it's loaded or not, always act as if you are holding a loaded gun. The third is be aware of your target, what is both in front and behind, so that you are shooting in a safe area where you're not going to injure anybody. And the final basic gun safety rule or law is that you keep your finger outside of the trigger guard until you are ready to shoot at your target. And on top of this basic knowledge, which I pulled from the hunter safety course that myself and my whole family did before we go hunting, I believe that everybody should take a suicide prevention class, because even if you do know proper gun safety, that does not ensure you are in the proper mindset. And if you don't know how to handle a situation where either yourself or somebody that you know is thinking about ending your life, there can be serious consequences when you don't have the proper training and education that you need to have. There are only 15%, which is 1 in 7, surveyed adult gun owners who have claimed that they received information on suicide prevention. This is a very small number and also needs to change to prevent many suicide attempts and deaths and injuries by gunshot. And it's a very simple solution where it's easily preventable if everybody was required to take some sort of gun ed training or course, as well as a suicide prevention course, before being allowed to own firearms. And therefore, I believe that it needs to change and should be a required part of owning a firearm.